Her accidental block was cute, until I saw the screenshots she sent him. Lingerie, dates, and captions like, "He'll never know." That cheating snake underestimated one thing: I never shout. I document. And when I strike, it's in front of everyone she ever tried to impress. She started wearing perfume again. Not for me. It was subtle, barely there, vanilla with some floral edge, but it hit me like a slap when she walked past one morning, phone pressed to her chest like it was some sacred thing. Ashley never used to care for scents. Said they gave her headaches. But now, it was her signature. Every morning. Same spritz, same distance in her eyes. We'd been married 6 years. Lived in a modest 2-bedroom in Durham, North Carolina. Quiet street. Maple in the yard. A porch swing I built with my own hands the year after we lost the first baby. And yet, I couldn't remember the last time we sat on that swing together. That Tuesday morning, she left early. Said she had a team meeting downtown, real estate clients, her usual line. But the meeting didn't show on the shared calendar we swore by. And the way she avoided kissing me goodbye. Mechanical. Like she couldn't bring herself to pretend. The first real crack came later that afternoon. I texted her, just a simple "how'd it go?" And the message turned green. Blocked. I called once. Straight to voicemail. Then I checked her Instagram, vanished. Facebook. Page not available. For 5 hours, I let it simmer. Told myself it was a glitch. I wasn't that guy, the paranoid husband. But deep down, something started grinding in my chest. Not pain. Not yet. Just metal on metal. She called me at 6:18 p.m. Sweet as syrup. "Hey babe. Sorry, my phone's been crazy. I think I accidentally blocked you or something." So weird, right? She laughed. Like it was some sitcom moment. I asked her how the meeting went. She said fine. Fast. Said they might offer her a bonus if she lands the Culver property. I didn't mention the blocking. Just said, glad it went well. She came home 2 hours later, holding Thai takeout. Smiling like a high school girl in love. Wearing that damn vanilla cloud again. While she set the table, I checked her phone on the charger. Locked. Same as always. But the screen lit up when I shifted the cord. New message. The preview burned. That pic you sent, damn. Made my day. No name. Just a gray bubble. I didn't touch it. Didn't need to. She stirred her noodles like she was bored of eating. Asked if I wanted to watch that new show, something about FBI couples. I nodded. Watched her instead. Her left hand never left her phone. Even during dinner. That night, she wore lace. I didn't touch her. She asked if something was wrong. I smiled. Just tired. But sleep didn't come. I lay there in the dark, staring at the glow of her phone, lighting her face every 15 minutes. She used to curl into me. Now she curled away. The vanilla still lingered on the sheets long after she passed out. It wasn't the scent that kept me up. It was the silence she left inside it. The hallway light was off. That used to mean something. Back when things were real, Ashley hated the dark. Wouldn't even brush her teeth without every bulb blazing. But now she moved in shadows like she preferred them. I woke at 2:41 a.m. to that faint creak of the bathroom door. Not the main one. The guest bath, the one with the thinner walls. The glow was soft, faint blue from her screen leaking under the door. I didn't move. Just listened. No water running. No cabinet doors. Just soft taps, thumbs moving fast. The house was quiet except for that. And the occasional sharp whisper, like a laugh caught in her throat. When she slipped back into bed 15 minutes later, she didn't think I was awake. Her breathing slowed fast. Fake sleep. Practiced. The next morning, I took a half day from work. Told her I had a late start. She didn't even blink. Didn't ask why. Just smiled and kissed me fast, already dressed too sharp for a clientless day. Her outfit, blazer, tight jeans, red heels. She never wore red. Said it made her feet look wide. Lunch with Jess, she said. Jess moved to Atlanta last year. I nodded. After she left, I checked the Wi-Fi log. I'd installed the router myself, knew how to pull device access and timestamps. Her phone had been active on WhatsApp until 2:56 a.m. Then again at 6:07, before she even brushed her teeth. It was small. But I took the screenshot anyway. By noon, I was parked across from a coffee shop near downtown. Her lunch with Jess was in full swing, except Jess had curly brown hair and a toddler. The man Ashley was smiling at across the table had a buzz cut, no ring, and hands too comfortable on hers. I didn't take a photo. Not yet. I watched. Tracked. She laughed at something he said, that same head tilt she used on me when we were still new. The waitress came by, set down a single plate they both picked at. She fed him a bite. That's when I started counting. Not photos. Moves. Lies. 6:18 p.m., blocked by accident. Jess as the cover story. Wearing red heels. Midnight giggles with a phone glow. Each one, a nail in a coffin she didn't know she was building. That night, she walked in like she owned joy. Hugged me from behind while I washed dishes. Vanilla hit first. Then the false weight of her arms. Good day, she asked. I dried my hands slow. Same old. Yours. Jess says hi. Of course she does. We watched a movie. She picked it. Some British thing. Halfway through, her phone buzzed, and she flinched. Picked it up too fast. Said it was her mom. Funny thing. Her mom died in 2019. I didn't call it out. Just watched the scene on screen where the wife poisons her husband's drink while smiling at him. Ashley laughed. I laughed too. She never saw me unlock her laptop later that night. Never knew I'd cloned her backup files last month when I fixed her password issue. Never noticed I'd installed remote syncing. I didn't check the messages yet. I wanted the context first. I needed her timeline. Needed to understand how long I'd been living with a ghost in lipstick. The bitch hadn't just cheated. She'd rehearsed it. Refined it. And I was done playing the husband she left on read. 3 days passed. Each one quieter than the last. Ashley smiled more now. Not the warm, half-sleep grin I used to wake up beside, no, this was thinner. A glass smile. One meant to be seen, not felt. She made breakfast Thursday morning. Scrambled eggs, toast, coffee with oat milk. A performance. She sat across from me, elbows on the table, chin resting on her hand like a rom-com still frame. I've been thinking we should do a weekend in Asheville. Just us. I nodded. Let the fork scrape the plate. Sounds good. She lit up like she still believed I was buying it. But her phone buzzed twice during breakfast. Both times, she glanced at it like a reflex, eyes down, thumb hovering. The second buzz made her twitch. I reached for the salt. Our fingers brushed. Hers were cold. Later that night, I triggered the sync. Her messages flooded my laptop. Nothing in iMessage. That was clean. But WhatsApp, that was the real diary. First chat, Nate, work client, her label. His messages didn't read like invoices. Still thinking about your legs in that skirt yesterday. Can't believe you wore red for me. You free sat. My place. No distractions. Her replies were worse. Sweet poison. Pictures I hadn't seen. Ones no husband should. The last one chilled me. He won't check. He's too trusting. That's why I love you, you see me. I stared at that for 5 minutes. That's why I love you. Love. Not like, not lust, not oops. That word used to mean something in our house. She used to whisper it through tears the night she miscarried at 12 weeks. Now she handed it to some buzz-cut client like it was a free sample. I didn't cry. I watched. Scrolled. They planned their next meetup around lunch with clients. She even drafted a fake calendar invite to show me if I asked. Meticulous. Calculated. He called her Ash. She hated that nickname when I used it. By Friday, I noticed something else. She started grooming differently. Shaved more often. Nails perfect. Lip gloss in the glove compartment. It wasn't for me. I knew the difference. She even changed how she said my name. Brighter. Polished. Like she wanted me comfortable. The gaslighting was surgical. I feel like you've been distant lately. Is something wrong? You can talk to me. Don't let work stress kill your smile, babe. Every word sharpened like a mirror turned inward. I nodded. Smiled. Watched. She wasn't just lying to me. She was rewriting me. Turning my silence into guilt. My distance into fault. She picked fights over crumbs. Over laundry. Over the thermostat. Then followed it with sex that felt like currency. But her phone never left her body. Not when she showered. Not even when she peed. That night, while she showered, I timed the steam cycle. 7 minutes. Enough. Used a backup clone of her cloud account. Pulled video files she'd recorded. Found 2. Bedroom. Different sheets. His voice in the background. Not explicit, but intimate. Her voice softer than I remembered it in months. He called her my girl. I played it once. Then deleted the local copy. Kept the metadata. Proof was no longer the goal. Leverage was. She didn't know I knew. She didn't know I was already planning the goodbye. She asked me to take a selfie with her. Out of nowhere. We were in the grocery store, Saturday afternoon, near the deli counter. She leaned in, held the phone up, kissed my cheek. Smile, she whispered. Her tone was sweet, almost apologetic. I smiled. She posted it 20 minutes later with the caption. Weekend grocery runs with my one. 4 people liked it. Her mother commented with a heart. But I recognized the move, strategic intimacy. A public alibi. Back home, she played wife. Cleaned the living room. Asked if I wanted to grill Sunday. Even offered to massage my shoulders while I worked. But she flinched when I asked her to hand me her phone to play music. Said hers was low on battery, reached for mine instead. Sunday came. She dressed casual, but still too polished for a backyard grill. Tight jeans, soft makeup. Same damn vanilla scent. I caught her checking her reflection twice in the patio door glass. Not for me. By noon, she got a work call. Took it inside. Left the door open by mistake. I heard her voice drop an octave. Soft. Sweet. A giggle. A pause. Then. I can't say that with the windows open, you idiot. No, he doesn't suspect. He's grilling steaks. I miss you too. She came back out with a Coke and a lie. I'll have to jump on a Zoom tomorrow. New client. Might take a few hours. Another Culver. I asked. She blinked once. What? You mentioned the Culver account last time. Oh. No. Different one. Too fast. I nodded. Later that evening, I called Greg, a friend from high school who'd moved into real estate consulting. Asked if he knew anyone at Preston End Park. He said he did. Asked why. Just curious, I said. 2 hours later, Greg texted me a contact and a warning. Careful. Rumor is, someone there's been messing around with a married agent. Not cool. That was the crack I needed. Not proof, position. Monday morning, Ashley left in black slacks and a navy blazer. Said she'd be at the office until 5. Kissed my cheek like she was blessing me. I called out sick. Took my laptop, parked 2 blocks from her office. Logged into the synced WhatsApp archive and watched her status update. In meetings all day. At 11:07 a.m., her location pinged near a rooftop bar 10 blocks away. The same one she and I had celebrated our 5th anniversary in. By 11:40, she stopped responding to messages altogether. By 1:13, she was back at the office. Her cover was sealed before I ever asked where she'd been. When she came home, she brought me coffee. Kissed me on the couch. Sat in my lap. "I missed you today," she whispered. I watched her eyes as she said it. She didn't miss me. She missed the version of me that hadn't started building walls. That night, she slept hard. Dreamless. I stayed up and drafted an email to our lawyer. Quiet inquiry. No mention of names. Just questions about asset division. House title. Her car loan. I also ordered a digital voice recorder. Small. Discreet. She was slipping. Growing careless. The thrill was making her bold. And I needed her just bold enough to hang herself with her own rope. Tuesday morning, she didn't say goodbye. No kiss. No glance. Just grabbed her keys and muttered something about a scheduling conflict. Her blazer was the same one from yesterday. I stood at the sink, washing out her lipstick-smudged mug, and waited. 5 minutes later, the front door opened again. "Forgot my charger," she called out. Her phone buzzed as she darted past me. She snatched it up like a rabbit sensing hawks. I caught a name on the screen before it disappeared. Nate, client face with rolling eyes. The emoji was new. The kind that says, harmless, to anyone who might look over her shoulder. But I'd already seen the messages. I'd seen more. Last night, while she slept like the faithful wife she pretended to be, I copied over a new backup from her cloud. This time, the sync didn't just pull chats, it pulled photos. Hidden folders. Screenshots. Notes. The bitch took notes. Drafted messages to him like scripts. Worded replies in her iPhone's Notes app, rehearsed how she'd ask for time alone without raising suspicion. Maybe say I have cramps. Or my mom needs something. Too risky to meet here again. He noticed the red heels. God, I wish he'd just cheat so I wouldn't feel bad. She wanted me to be the villain so she could wear white in her own story. But the worst wasn't her words, it was the screenshots she sent him. A photo of me, in the yard, grilling. Captioned. Still playing house. One of me asleep on the couch. Snoring like a damn bear. How did I ever get wet for that? I stared at that one the longest. Not because it hurt. Because it didn't. I'd gone numb. That night, I took a walk. Just past dusk. Past the hardware store, the post office, the dive bar on 4th, stopped by Greg's house. Handed him a flash drive. Told him to keep it sealed unless something ever seemed off. Greg didn't ask questions. Just nodded. Inside that drive. Copies of every message. Screenshots of her lies. One video of her in the bedroom with someone else's voice in the background. Notes she'd written to herself like a teenager cheating on a test. She'd been building a second life. And I wasn't going to burn it down. I was going to donate it, piece by piece. Next morning, I dropped by her office building. Said I was there to surprise her for lunch. Receptionist smiled. She stepped out with a client. Nate, I think. I smiled back. No worries. I'll wait. I didn't wait. I walked 2 blocks down, straight into the building where Nate's firm had an office. Pretended to be a vendor. Took the elevator up, saw them in the lounge. Laughing. Sitting too close. Her hand on his knee. I took the photo. Left without a word. That night, when she came home, she kissed me twice. Said she was thinking of starting therapy again, to reconnect before we drifted. Therapy. Cute. She'd already drafted a fake, husband is emotionally distant, narrative in her notes. Maybe I say he's checked out. That I tried. That I begged him to talk and he just shut down. She'd written her victim script. All she needed was the stage. But I'd already booked the theater. Next step, convert everything into PDF. Time-stamped. Digitally signed. 1 more week. Maybe 2. She thought I was drifting. She had Northwest idea how close I was to the finish. She cried after sex. It was a Thursday. Rain tapping the windows like fingers tracing warning signs. We hadn't touched in weeks, and suddenly she wanted me. Climbed into my lap like a need she couldn't name. I let it happen. Silent. Motionless. She moved like she was trying to erase something. Afterward, she curled into me, a shape I once knew, and let the tears come. No sobs. Just tears, slow and quiet. I feel weird, she whispered. I didn't speak. Just ran a hand down her back and waited. I think I'm broken, she said. You've been distant, and I don't know if I pushed you away or if I'm just not lovable anymore. There it was. The emotional pre-alibi. She was laying the groundwork, subtle, guilt-lined, strategic. Trying to set the tone for the eventual reveal. When the truth came out, she'd already have her version memorized. Poor Ashley. Lonely. Tired. Married to a man who stopped seeing her. Except I saw everything. Her crying wasn't grief. It was rehearsal. The next morning, she asked me to join her at couples therapy. Said she'd already scheduled something, first session free. I nodded. Sure. Let's fix this. She smiled with relief so thick it was nearly pity. Like she thought she was winning. That day, while she worked, I visited the lawyer. Not mine. Hers. The name was in her synced notes, under Emergency Plan, Draft. She'd been prepping for exit. Drafting what she'd say if caught. Even tagged assets she thought were hers by contribution. The house. Her car. My grandmother's dining set. I booked an appointment using my full name. Sat across from the woman who, on paper, would have represented Ashley. I think my wife might have retained you, I said. She blinked. Ashley Holden. I nodded. Conflict of interest, she replied quickly, the tension tightening in her throat. No worries, I said. Just needed that confirmed. Walked out. Checked the clock. Ashley was already texting Nate. He agreed to therapy. I think it's working. Or he's just scared. Either way, progress. I sent myself a copy of every chat with timestamps. All synced through a script I installed on her iCloud weeks ago. She never questioned why her phone got hot at night. At home, she made dinner. Real effort, grilled salmon, kale salad, wine. Played music. Sang softly under her breath. She was nesting. The cheating slut thought she'd tamed the storm. I opened the wine. Toasted to new starts. Later, I checked her phone while she showered. Not unlocked, mirrored. Every tap she made echoed on my laptop. She sent him a selfie. Just shoulders and a smile. Captioned. Guess who just agreed to couples therapy? He replied. Buy you dinner when you're finally free. She sent a winking gif. I watched from the kitchen, sipping the same wine she toasted with. Friday, I called in a favor from Greg again. Had him print the PDFs, full record. Labeled, organized, bound. On top, the sex photo she sent. The one from our bed, his necklace around her neck. The bitch was careless. Next step, lock the bank accounts. Freeze the joint card. Transfer titles she hadn't checked since 2022. Each move precise. Legal. Silent. By Monday, her emails started bouncing back. I'd pulled admin access to our cloud service. Changed the passwords. Scheduled the reveal. She still kissed me goodbye that morning. Said I felt warmer lately. I watched her walk out the door and wondered how many other men she said that to. I served the papers during her therapy session. She sat across from a licensed professional, one I hired, not her, rehearsing her little tale of abandonment and isolation. I watched from the observation room behind the one-way mirror. She didn't know I'd booked the space, or that the therapist wasn't neutral. She talked fast. Emotional. Almost convincing. He stopped touching me. He was always so cold. I thought it was work stress. I begged him to talk to me. I just wanted my husband back. Tears. The therapist nodded, scribbled. Played the part. Then she leaned forward and said, Ashley, before we go further, I've been authorized to deliver something. Slid a thick envelope across the table. Ashley's hand trembled before she opened it. Inside. Divorce papers. Full digital copies of the affair timeline. Her messages. Her photos. Nate's voice on audio. On top, a sticky note. You lied in a room designed for truth. This is the last thing you'll control. The therapist stood. Left the room. I watched through the glass. Her eyes went flat. Like glass cracking from the inside. She didn't scream. Didn't move. Just sat there, flipping through each page like she could rewrite them by blinking slower. I walked into the room 10 minutes later. She looked up like she'd seen a ghost. Mark. No. She swallowed hard. You, how long? Long enough to outplan you. She reached for my hand. I didn't move. You don't understand. I slid my phone across the table. Hit play. Her voice, whispering in the dark. He won't check. He's too trusting. That's why I love you, you see me. She flinched. I pulled the second document from my coat pocket. A notarized letter. Her car, now in my name. Her health insurance. Terminated yesterday. Her phone buzzed on the table. I'd synced it mid-morning. The preview showed a message from Nate. Wanna celebrate the win tonight? I'll book the hotel. I didn't even look at her. Just said, he'll be getting his own version of this. With his boss CC'd. She finally broke. Please, Mark. Please don't. You built this. Every lie, every script, every excuse. You wrote your ending. I just printed it. She tried to cry again. I watched the performance fall apart. No applause. Outside, Greg waited in the car. Flash drive copies ready for both HR departments. Hers and Nate's. She tried one last line as I reached the door. We were broken long before Nate. I turned. You weren't fixing anything. You were staging a funeral for me before I died. And then I left. No slamming. No yelling. Just the cold echo of her reality closing in. By noon, her world cracked in 4 public places. Greg delivered the flash drive to her firm's HR director, sealed envelope, no return name. Inside, copies of client confidential conversations with Nate, inappropriate photos taken on company time, and a timeline that proved she misrepresented contracts for personal gain. By 1:17 p.m., her company email was locked. By 1:42, she was escorted out of the office, red-faced, no blazer, her work badge dangling like a noose around her neck. I watched from across the street. Coffee in hand. Vanilla still clinging to the sidewalk where she walked. She didn't see me. Nate did. He came out 3 minutes later, phone to his ear, voice too loud. HR hadn't waited. Turns out, when a junior exec sleeps with a married contractor and uses internal resources to do it, the board gets twitchy. Especially when screenshots go to shareholders. He walked fast, jaw clenched. His phone buzzed, again and again. I'd blind copied everything to his girlfriend. She replied, "Thank you," within 5 minutes. By 3 p.m., Ashley was sitting on the curb outside their building, face buried in her hands, dress rumpled. Her phone lay beside her, dark. I'd canceled her line that morning. The number still worked, but the data was gone. All her backups. Purged. All her cloud accounts. Deauthorized. She had copies of nothing. The real final blow came in a quiet room. A notary's office. She walked in thinking it was a mediation meeting. Instead, she was handed a summary of the prenup she forgot we signed after my inheritance cleared 3 years ago, a prenup she'd waived revision rights on. Infidelity clause. Full forfeiture of joint assets. The lawyer she planned to use had already been disqualified from representation due to prior contact. She blinked. Read it again. Tried to argue. No record of marital counseling attempts. No written documentation of neglect. Pre-drafted divorce documents acknowledged and signed under full capacity. She finally looked at me like she understood. You set this up? I nodded. You never planned to fix this? No. I planned to finish it. She stood. Wobbled. You humiliated me. No, Ashley. You humiliated yourself. I just held up a mirror. She didn't beg this time. Didn't cry. Just walked out like the air had thickened. Later that night, I mailed a certified envelope to her parents. Inside, the same timeline. Pictures. Audio. Video. They had a right to know what their daughter really did with the trust we built. She always said, my family would never judge me. We'll see. Next morning, the locks were changed. The bank cards deactivated. She stood on the porch at 6:38 a.m. in her robe, knocking like a stranger. I watched from the window. Didn't move. Her car was gone by 7. Her shadow stayed a little longer. She doesn't know where I live now. The house sold fast, staged just right, fresh paint, her scent long gone. I moved out 3 days after the final signature hit. Left her nothing but an empty mailbox and the ghost of her own voice, echoing through legal transcripts. She texted from a new number once. Can we talk? Just once. No yelling. I need to understand how you could be so cold. I didn't block her. I didn't reply. I printed it. Stapled it to the rest. Filed under closure, attempted. She tried the friends next. Lisa. Jordan. My brother. Said she just wanted a civil conversation. Said she'd owned her part. But no one answered. I hadn't just left her. I'd erased her map. Nate's name doesn't come up anymore. HR buried him deep, and word got around. Affairs might not be illegal, but they sure as hell kill careers. Ashley's resume dried up fast. No replies. Then whispers. Then silence. She got loud on Facebook for a while. Vague quotes. Cryptic posts. Sad song lyrics. The usual. Then a digital detox. Her last photo was 3 weeks ago. A sunset. Caption. Rebuilding. Alone but stronger. No likes. I don't feel vindicated. That's not the word. It's something flatter. Emptier. Like standing in a room stripped to drywall and nails. I sleep fine now. The quiet isn't haunting. It's earned. I kept one thing from the old house, the porch swing. Stored it in a unit for months. Last week, I mounted it outside the new place. Different city. Smaller space. No echo of her voice in the walls. Sometimes I sit there with coffee. Same mug. Different hand. It creaks in the breeze. Wood dry and soft under my palms. She once said I'd never leave. That I needed her. That I'd never survive alone. She was wrong. I didn't survive. I outlived. And now, she's the one standing in rooms with no mirrors. This is where it ends. Not with fire. With silence. With no one left to lie to.